I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, nah. I think you don't want to touch it.
Nope, I'm good.
That's unfortunate. I think it's something that we definitely need to get into.
Might need some more time for that.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I already started.
They got all that I just said.
I'm not 100% sure because it froze. It froze.
Amazing.
Listen, we ain't found shit
at all.
My man was being honest. Like he said, he ain't necessarily sure if he's ready to have that conversation.
I need to do some more research before I'm able to knowledgeably talk about that.
Like I have thoughts at this point.
That's why I'm saying I feel like, and I mean that's what this platform is for. We can share our thoughts.
We don't necessarily have to have
uninformed opinions.
Yeah, uninformed opinions.
But I feel like with that, I would rather be informed.
Really?
As much as I can. Yeah.
I got thoughts. I got takes from several different sources on the spectrum on when it comes to that particular subject. I think that I could talk about it and be like I can give you my feeling on it, and it's not necessarily right. I don't think it's necessarily wrong though.
So it's not right. And it's not wrong.
Yeah, because the whole shit,
like middle ground.
The whole shit is in a gray area type situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's my thing, man. It's people's lives and their decisions about their lives. So I feel like I want to know more about it before I start saying you shouldn't do this or you should do that or I'm like let me step back, let me get in my bag and figure out exactly.
But are we telling people what they should and shouldn't do? Or how they feel.
Not necessarily. But your opinion can be portrayed as that.
Right.
Or misconstrued as that. In 10 years, if you run for city council, they're going to come back and be like, well, you're saying this about transgenders, but we got this podcast episode for 2023, and this is what you said. And you're going to be like...
Number one, never run for city council. I have way too much shit. Way too many skeletons from gang banging to other shit.
Yo, you gotta Eminem that joint. You gotta put out everything they gonna put out again. I know everything you about to say
about me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know something about you.
You went to Granbrook. That's a private school.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that could possibly work. But they dig into some of the wild shit. Like it might.
I feel like I might get crazy one day. Probably like if I'm like 55 and I'm pretty established and settled and on a regular routine, depending on where I live, I might pull up on the city council. Like y'all got an opening. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need a treasurer. What y'all need? Comptroller.
You don't want it?
But yeah, if I end up running unopposed, cool. If I run up against somebody, I might have to Eminem myself. I'm like, so there's a podcast,
right?
It's out there, and that
I used to
I've said some things, and let me start my apology right here.
The apology tour. You going on the apology tour?
Yeah. Let me start my apology. I was young. I was having a good time. I didn't know much. Matter of fact, it was in the title. We ain't found shit.
You were in your 30s.
Next question. You can't ask him to leave. Get him out of here. That's what they do now. This is a problem I have too that we didn't really have on our list to talk about. But
hold on. Before we get into that, let's do the introductions. Okay. Y'all know what it is. This is We Ain't Found.
We ain't found shit.
We back, motherfuckers. It's your boy Court, a.k.a. the infamous one, the infamous El Wapo, a.k.a. Bimbo Skillet, a.k.a. the nigga that does this, a.k.a. Son of Black Krypton, a.k.a. I still smell better than your man any day, a.k.a. Was it Washington Denzel? The Denzel Washington, a podcast. You don't like it when you call him Denzel. It's Denzel.
Who said that?
Him. That's how you say his name.
When did he say that?
He's been said that.
I never heard that.
Yeah. It's not Denzel. It's Denzel.
Denzel just feels weird.
It does, doesn't it?
But I'm glad I know for when I meet him.
If you ever meet him, don't call him
Denzel.
Denzel. Yeah,
Denzel.
I would honestly. I'm just gonna go with Mr. Washington.
Right.
At this point,
Right.
you know what I'm saying,
Right.
Mr. Washington. Until he says, "Call me Denzel" or "Call me Denzel." Until he gives me that.
But
like,
then
it's gonna
I'm
be Mr.
still,
Washington.
if he's like, hey, and he hit me with that smile, you can call me Denzel. I'm gonna be like, all right, Mr. Washington, it's a pleasure to meet you.
So you still gonna keep up with the Mr. Washington?
Because I'm gonna fuck up the Denzel. Like nobody says Denzel.
Yeah, everybody says Denzel.
The part of the sophistication in his name was Denzel.
Right.
2 syllables. Den and Zell. Denzel? That sounds dull in comparison. No offense. But I ain't gonna cross Mr. Washington. He's one of our finest actors that we've ever had. Top 10 all time.
Yeah.
Boy's a monster.
Supposed to be coming out with another where he goes around helping motherfuckers and shit. Murdering people.
What is he? The
Executioner, extendable.
Executioner.
Ex Denzel.
Dang it. Denzel.
Denzel.
Hold on. I know what it is. I can't think of the word. The Expatriate? No.
Oh fuck.
Queen Latifah do the show now.
Yeah, which is.
Have you seen it? 'Cause
no.
My mom swears it's a good show. Equalizer.
Okay.
There we go. I knew it was gonna pop up.
Yeah,
when went to that.
Equalizer. So he's equaling things out. I ain't trying to get.
Yeah, they say this was one of the better ones too. Apparently he in Italy trying to just chill and
live his life.
Yeah.
And they start fucking with him.
The mob.
Yeah.
I dig it. I see that.
I mean, hey.
I thought they couldn't squeeze any more juice out of John Wick, but John Wick 4 was fucking awesome.
Really?
Yes.
It wasn't my favorite.
Yo.
It wasn't my favorite.
The second one is my all-time favorite. I'll go 2, 1, then 4, then 3.
See, for me, it goes in order.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. One.
I thought the
one's
second
my
was
favorite.
better than the first.
Two is dope. Is dope. They amp it up. A reason why I'm not like 2 is not my number 1 is because Santino got on my fucking nerves. He just reminds me of like the pricks I went to high school with. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he was going for, but yeah, he was annoying.
Yeah, so I was definitely happy when he got murdered. If you haven't seen
spoilers,
yeah, John Wick 1, 2, or 3, fuck you, because they've been out for like years.
This
now,
is true.
Yeah, so fuck the spoilers.
Really
like you just
spoiler.
you just lazy.
Nah, I thought the fourth. I think the value of the fourth one increased for me because I had been playing Call of Duty, and they have incendiary rounds with the shotgun. And they was calling it the Dragon's Breath at the time. And if you hit a nigga with it, boom, boom, about 2 shots, they out of there. And that's what he had in the movie when they did that overview, like of the apartment from above, and they was going through the room,
right?
But was hitting him with that fire.
Actually, kind of made me a little nauseous. The camera,
it being above,
being
around?
above, and the spinning around, yeah, it kind of made me nauseous in the movie theater.
You on your own on that one?
No, I don't think I am because I thought I read something that was a thing for some folks. I wasn't the only one. B with me too. You know, she said she felt kind of the same thing. Fuck you.
I can see somebody saying that just so all right, yeah, cool. We was nauseous. That's fine. It was excellent movie. Oh wait, I didn't get to introduce myself. You did all your intro and stuff.
Yeah,
hold on now.
Started talking this shit.
I am, and will always be the light skinned God, and I'm in the building, and we're here to talk about some shit that we don't know about because we ain't found shit.
Yeah, we ain't found shit. Long live the R&B charlatan.
Hey,
I guess just before we get into the shit, the I guess the status update of everyday life since a nigga got stabbed in the heart and kicked in the nuts by life in December and shit. Like,
it's pretty raw.
Yeah, I'm just at this point fucking existing. At this point, fucking existing. Like I deal with the shit in a different manner every day. Every one day, I understand, and then some days I'm like, the fuck is going on? And I wrestle with shit mentally on a daily basis. I don't want anybody to like send the folks in the white with the white coats over to the crib though. It's not that major yet.
Okay. That's comforting.
Yeah, don't do that. But I wrestle with just anger and depression, and y'all could kiss my ass about
all the steps of grieving.
Yeah, anything having to deal with religion too. Y'all can eat you can suck my dick with that shit.
Nice.
Nah, I'm not even trying to say it in code. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You can eat a dick when it comes to that shit. Y'all keep that shit 1,000%
But what
away
if
from me.
God needed what's my favorite? Another flower in his garden.
Or another soldier in his army. It's like, who the fuck is these niggas fighting? You know what I'm saying? And if it's like the war against good and evil, like he's been getting his ass whooped forever. Give it up, cuz evil's won. You know what I'm saying? Evil's won, B. Like, yeah,
damn.
like, yeah, y'all can miss me with all that bullshit.
I've never even being fully immersed in Christianity, man, and being in church all day, every day, and in the Bible. The one thing I always hated was Christian tropes, especially the ones that are not biblically based at all, which those are not. So it's like there's no foundation for it. Y'all literally just made
making
this
shit
up,
right?
Yeah,
To make yourselves feel better about a fucked up situation.
Precisely. Which is what people think you're doing as a Christian anyway by having created a, quote, God. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you feed into it when you throw these tropes out there. It's like if you're saying that it's based on this book, then let's stick to that. Don't come out here with the whole, the Lord give, the Lord take away. Nah, yo, that ain't, that's out of context. That ain't how it worked. It's none of that.
Right, and to me, what gets me is just the logic of the whole deal. I live this life. Mm-hmm. I run into trials and tribulations and basically get beat the fuck up for 80 plus years. At the end of it, when I die, the payout for being a decent person and following the rules according to, the man that's spitting it from the pulpit and supposedly this book that's been rewritten a million fucking times is glory. I get to go to this place. That's awesome. But I had to go through hell to get there.
I'm going to tell you what helps with the transition, especially in belief for this. I ain't going to lie. And I've thought about this so many times looking back. Gospel music. Gospel music is amazing the way it connects with you emotionally. I was thinking...
You know why, though, right?
Why?
Because most gospel music is written in minor chords.
Ah.
So minor chords are the emotional chords. So
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. So that's the reason why.
And they literally hit like that. Like they pull on so much to the point where, like, I have a gospel playlist to this day I still listen to. But it was some song I heard the other day, man, that almost had me crying, thinking about people that passed away. And it was talking about people going up there somewhere up in the sky. I can't remember the song. Terrible, but it's a good song, man. Mm-hmm. And that really draws you in. It really makes the emotional application and connection. Yeah. Which you need in order to really, have that kind of experience. So, yeah, it's tough, man. I think I just think when people are grieving, instead of acting like you have answers, just be a human. You don't have answers. You don't know what they're going through. Even if you've experienced something similar, it's different because it's them and that person.
Right.
We could both lose our mom, but you had a different connection with your mom than I did. Mm-hmm. So me being like, yeah, I know what that's like. You just got to hang in there. Don't do that.
Don't do that, right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I lost my brother too. You just got, nah. You going through your things, here to listen. That's it. Might throw out an opinion or something, but ultimately trying to figure it out together because we ain't found shit.
Right. At all. At all.
We hope that he's in black heaven, tearing up the chicken. maybe saving some for us. But it's like, you know, these are the things that bring us comfort, which is fine. And that's why I am not opposed to Christianity or any of that. Like, I feel like there was so much that I gained intrinsically, morally, like just from having that experience, you know, that I don't know where else you would get that. Where else do they focus on what type of person you are, except in religions, in Islam, in Buddhism, in Christianity? Because in school they don't. They talk about, you know, you being intelligent or whatever, but you can be a shiesty motherfucker. So it's not usually until you have some introduction to some form of religion that it's about what type of character you have.
Right.
And that's a place you go where people are learning about that together versus just at home. You know, your moms might be like, hey, don't lie, don't cheat, don't do this and that. And you're like, all right, cool. But a joined place where people are wanting to learn, quote unquote, to be better people, I see the value in that.
Right. But can you teach that to your kids and to, you know, nieces, nephews, et cetera, without having that institution being involved?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
I don't know.
I didn't go to church. Like, we went to church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like a every Sunday thing.
Yeah.
Shit.
Here and
Sometimes
there.
it'd be years before we step foot in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I feel like I grew up knowing what's right and wrong and how to be a decent person.
And I think it's a lot of people who don't realize that when they hear that somebody is an atheist, they think they, you know, devil worshippers out here sacrificing goats.
We'll also say that the atheists don't have the greatest PR in the world,
At all.
a good chunk of them are obnoxious assholes.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, and have the tendency to
Be very condescending.
condescending.
Yeah.
Very, you know, I'm
Agreed.
above you.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily consider myself an atheist.
Yeah.
Or even like agnostic in a
Yeah.
sense. I'm just a non-believer. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't. You know what I mean? But if you do, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's where I'm at. I consider myself agnostic because I do believe in a higher power. I feel like I've had experiences that I can't deny involve a spiritual higher power. Like I couldn't rationally or logically tell you about it or make it make sense without there being a God.
God, right? Or somebody that's at least looking after you. Like I believe, like, you know, ancestors and shit.
Yeah,
Your people's like they look out for you. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
that's what I believe.
Something on the spiritual plane,
Right.
So that's where I'm at. It's just the extent of going down the Christianity rabbit hole. There are some things I can't. Even in faith, I still believe in faith, man. I still have faith in a lot of things. That's why for me, like, you know, if somebody, I'm in my grandmother's house, man, she still asks me to pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think she has a real understanding of where I am spiritually.
Right.
And it would take a lot to try and explain that. And Lord knows she might shoot at me. I don't know. But so, you know, but it's like if she asked me to pray, I am not, what's the word?
Opposed?
I'm not opposed. I'm not feeling where it's like clashing. Like
Yeah, you're not conflicted.
I'm not conflicted. Thank you. I'm not conflicted at all. Because regardless of whether I'm and this is to me one of the biggest issues that I tend to have sometimes with Christianity is the one-way path ideal. Because it's like, if I say, okay, and I pray in Jesus' name, like I believe in my prayers. And if you're with me and you believe in Jesus, for example, and I don't, so the idea is like, oh, well, you're a non-believer, so this prayer isn't going to go anywhere.
Right.
And I don't subscribe to that.
That, right. Like, you got to think and see the world the same way that I do in order for it to work.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the thing, like, for me, too, is like how they think, like, our shit is better. Well, 1 billion Chinese people or 1 billion Hindus and Buddhists and, you know, Confucianism and whatever else you want to call it can't be wrong.
Right.
And they ain't going to a separate place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's weird, and it's weird for me, especially when it comes to black folks.
I mean, the indoctrination level is very strong,
right?
And then, like you said, to your point, the emotional appeal, and with black people, you can't convince me that something I didn't feel wasn't real. Mm-hmm. So when I'm pulled in emotionally, that's how a lot of cults work. That's why one of the first steps in most cults is love bombing, because I'm appealing to your emotion and I'm taking you to a position where it's like, you're going to have this connection with me no matter what. And that is how we're going to draw you in and create a hook and pull you in so that we can, start lining up some of the other things that we got for you.
Right.
But initially, we want to give you something. You're not getting it. You don't show up at work and people are like, hey, man, good to see you, dude. I love you, man. Glad you're here. That's what I'm saying.
Get that. Yeah, you don't get
These organized places give you something you don't get anywhere else.
Right. Because usually when you walk into the door of work, it's a problem immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Not just that, but you're faced with other people who don't want to be there.
Right, exactly. We're all in the same fucking boat.
Yeah,
you know
so
what
it's
I'm
like
saying?
we can act like whatever, but ultimately, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I won't be here. You
don't
won't be here. That's the common. That's a common theme here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But you go to certain churches or have certain spiritual experiences, and it's like the opposite. I'm so glad you're here. God brought you here.
Right.
And it gives you that something
nice to see you, brother. Like you come up and shake your hand and shit.
That I think, in some ways, it's not that you felt like it was missing, but you didn't know there was space for it.
Right.
Inside of you.
Right.
Until it happens, and then you like, holy shit! Like I'm around black men who are happy I'm here. We used to walking around, with the head nod. What's up? What's up, nigga?
Right.
Like, I don't know you.
Right. You
Whatever.
know what I'm saying? Keep it pushing, cuz. Like,
First people dapping you up, and they're excited because you walked in the building. All I did was walk in the fucking building, and you hype? Mm-hmm. Dog, that stuff pulls you. It pulls on you. And I'm not even going to front. Like, I miss a lot of those things. It's a lot of those things that I miss, but therein is the conflict for me, because some of it conflicts with other things that I believe at this point. But I do miss that, man. I can't think of anywhere else in modern society where you get that. And that's what old boy, his Starbucks philosophy was built on. Howard Schultz. Mm-hmm. It was built on a meeting place. People need a place they can go outside of home and outside of work where they can meet. Outside of home, outside of work, outside of church, where they can meet. And he took just that simple concept and branched it out into $1 billion industry.
Right.
And that literally is the core. Like, he has a whole book about it. Mm. That's the core of it.
So
it wasn't about the coffee.
Imagine if he added titties to that.
Well, okay, folks, we ain't found shit.
My bad.
Court's opinions do not necessarily reflect the opinions of we ain't found shit.
No, they absolutely do. So
this was a good talk for a minute.
I messed it up. My bad.
Decent. It was decent.
My bad. Yeah. Like,
but I still think in terms of religion, the same thing, man. We ain't found shit. Like, I was in a certain place when I was in my 20s. I was in a certain place when I was in my early 30s. Late 30s, you go to your 40s. You don't know how it's going to shift and change based on what you experience. We could be having this podcast at 60 years old and both be firm believers in.
And it could be a totally different podcast.
Yeah.
It could be a religious podcast. Oddly enough, they thought when I was younger, in my teens, early teens, late teens, just because of how I carried myself and how I talk, that I would be a preacher.
Yeah.
And even then I wasn't heavily religious. I wasn't religious at all. You know what I'm saying? To the extent like mom's comes and wakes you up. We're going to church this weekend, and I'm like, what the fuck for? Like, we haven't been in like 4 months. Why are we going? You know what I'm saying? No, she don't care. Just put on your clothes and let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Dressed, tuck your shirt in.
Tuck your shirt in, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 4 hours in, and we're niggas still singing the same goddamn song.
They said the same thing about me, man. That I'd be a pastor, a minister, All kinds of stuff. So I don't know. Check back in with us in 10 years. We might both
because it ain't happening.
Have a church. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
be straight taking offerings over the podcast.
Let me keep it a buck with you. Let me keep it.
He don't know, y'all.
Keep it a buck with you. If I own a church, you best to believe I'm taking the money from the offering.
Wow.
Wow. And what they call it, first lady, and maybe my secretary, who I'm probably boning to, are going on trips all over the world on you niggas.
This is amazing.
And that's word to Dominique. I mean that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean that. Hey, listen. If Court is a pastor,
I am not affiliated with this.
If Court is a pastor, I am definitely ripping off the congregation. Definitely. You will definitely see me on an expose somewhere, probably getting let off the handcuffs. If I'm doing it, that's exactly what I'm doing.
But you feel like that Cuba Gooding Jr. picture where he handcuffed, but he kind of half smiling.
He got a half smiling, because I got away with it for a little while. I
did it.
They about to take my Bentley.
So.
They about to repossess that big ass house. I told them
I would do it, and I did it.
Right, exactly. What's today? The 21st of May, 2023. If you ever hear about me being best believe I'm fucking folks.
Well, now that's out of the way, we ain't gonna. Me and Court will have separate churches.
It's gonna be the same church. He gonna get arrested along with me.
No. Gonna have me one first lady, and that's it. There won't be nobody else.
I'm gonna have me one first lady, but there's gonna be a lot of seconds and thirds too.
That's terrible.
Yeah, because that's gonna be a part of the church.
How? This is a polygamous community.
It is. So there's the main first lady, but we got secondary and third. We got like a B team and a C team. Depending on the time of the day, they can, When
would you ever choose the C team? That don't even sound like something you want to choose.
Like when A and B are on the rag, then C and D are open.
Called it on the rag.
Is that? I'm sorry, monthly.
I'm sorry.
when our flow visits,
on the rag, y'all.
I mean, hey,
we 1920s flow on the rag.
Listen.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my
baby.
Know what I'm
saying? Come on, Bartleby.
You're on the rag, you said?
Yeah. She's finally off. Saying, yeah.
That's that. Again, these views do not necessarily reflect.
Also, Lee, y'all know we're going to take a pause for the calls here in a second.
We're
waiting on the Uber Eats dude to bring the pizza.
Whoop.
I did not eat this morning, and I've been drinking. So there's that.
He done stepped into the light skinned God bar.
Yeah, he got the bar set up, whatnot, throwing parties and whatnot. Listen,
lifted.
I need a favor from each and every one of you motherfuckers that are listening. Like, he's just about here. Trying to get to a certain listenership, so if you can share with your peoples, man.
I would like to say that our Patreon subscriber told me very recently that they're considering canceling their subscription again for a lack of content. And
we coming out with there will be one today.
I explained this, but I could not disregard their feelings in terms of up until today. I mean, I said I don't think you should unsubscribe, but
can I speak to the
Patreon? We have to offer some bomb extra time content.
Okay,
kind of the gist of it too.
Patreon are one and very important Patreon subscriber. Extremely important.
Extremely.
I want to let you know.
Very cute. Also.
From the bottom of my heart. Hey, I don't have an opinion on that. That's not for me to say.
That's right. I'm letting them know.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But
gorgeous.
We had technical difficulties the last time that we recorded. Unfortunately, was not able to do the extra bonus episode content that you are paying for at the moment. We also, I believe we're very close to the light skinned God. Haven't been able to record in a while because of his ass. So
this is true. This is true.
Once we get back on a regular schedule,
yes,
we will be putting out heat. And if you don't mind, just passing it on to your friends and to your loved ones and getting them to also
nice
tap in for that extra. I promise you, from this point on, you will not be disappointed.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you'll probably be disappointed. But
it changed so quick. It changed in 2 seconds. I promise. Well, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you probably will be. But
God.
there will be something there and your money won't be wasted.
Facts.
Sincerely.
And we appreciate you. And your listenership.
We do.
And your contribution to the show.
And trust me, if we could get to a certain status point.
And when nobody believed in us, there was you.
For real. And when we get to a certain point where we have tiers, because you were the original one, you don't have to upgrade to get any of those special privileges. We're just going to give them to you.
Boom. You get it all.
You get it all.
Backstage
So we got T-shirts and shit like that.
You want to come on the show?
T-shirt.
I know you don't. She's refused to ever come on. But should you change?
Why?
Should there be a change of heart?
Why? Why don't you want to come on the show?
That ain't her style. She a background, do a thing in the background type. But should you ever change your mind, be first on the list to pull up and drop your opinions.
I don't know about first on the list. Like, I got some people who, that if we ever got a chance,
them subscribing?
They're not. They're famous. You know what I'm saying? Famous also.
Who?
Like women I want
Denzel?
to Denzel. Yeah, Denzel Washington.
Sorry, Denzel. Our one Patreon subscriber wants to be on the show this week. So
we'll have to put you
have
next
an opening.
Week. Do you imagine? I would never. I would never. Upset you or upset Denzel? Like, yeah.
He's really shifted into the new Sidney Poitier, like.
He really has.
Yes.
He really
he's
has.
made the shift successfully
really
to that level of respect around Hollywood, around the world, where it's like.
I would, honestly, if you told me Denzel Washington wants to meet with you at such and such time on this date, and like my mom is having surgery, like I'm at least thinking about it. On the same day, I'm at least thinking about it.
I'm going.
Yeah, I probably am too.
I love my mom.
Yeah,
and she gonna be the first one to tell me to go.
Facts.
She gonna be like,
yeah, baby, go.
I'll be fine.
Yeah,
you need to go.
You can come check on me afterwards.
Yeah, bring him with you.
Yeah, bring him with you.
Exactly.
Bring him with you.
Don't come in here if he's not with you.
And I would try.
Oh yeah,
I would try.
Come on, man. Moms, she need to pick me up. That's all.
Safe is apparently on his way. That is the name of the dude that just picked up our delivery.
His name is Safe.
Safe, yeah, Safe.
I mean, I guess that's comforting.
Yeah, he just wants you to know you're gonna be safe. He looks pretty safe. It don't matter. He come with some bullshit you want to around this motherfucker. Safe gonna get his ass whooped. He gonna be the only one that ain't gonna be safe. But yeah, so
yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if Denzel, however you want to say it, and my mom, same day, mom's is probably getting left in the lurch. I'm sorry. Dang. Yeah. But we numero uno, muy importante. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't get it out. Patreon subscriber,
man,
our one and only. You're very important.
Extremely. VIP.
One of us loves you a lot.
Very much.
And one of us is glad that you're back around. So,
absolutely.
Hey, that's a form of love, I guess.
Nice. Nicely done.
Like a brotherly love type thing. Not the dirty kind.
Moving right along.
Y'all do the dirty kind.
Way to make this awkward.
Y'all do it.
So.
But yeah, more extra shit is coming. And for everybody else that's listening, feel free to subscribe. Man, like, I don't give a, well, I do give a fuck. I want you to subscribe to the Patreon. That's important. But I also want you just to fucking listen. And listen all the way through. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a push to get to a certain level. We've been at this for like fucking 7 years now. And I feel like we have a better show than everybody else. But, of course, we're doing the shit on our own with our own money. So we don't have the same shit that everybody else has.
I think what's important is if you are listening consistently, which we know quite a few people are actually, more than the 6 that we always talk about.
Right.
I think
ain't enough, though.
Interacting with us will help. So on any of the things, sending us something you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
There's nothing beneath us that we wouldn't at least mention.
Absolutely
that
not.
so-and-so wants to hear us talk about before we absolutely clown you for even wanting us to talk about it.
Right.
But we'll mention it.
We'll mention it.
We'll tell them, we'll tell the people.
Just so you know you're going to get clowned, but we'll mention it.
But still reach out.
Yeah, reach out.
It's important.
I mean, motherfuckers don't know you. Like, don't get your feelings, like, hurt or nothing like that.
Dude, I be on people podcast Reddit page launching all kind of comments. I don't give a damn.
Right. Like, and speaking of, you got Reddit, you got Instagram, you got Facebook.
Yes.
You can tweet us on the Twitter, Elon's shit.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
But go for it.
There's still a lot of good porn on Twitter.
I got off of Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, I deleted the app. I don't do it.
I'm still
I don't
on.
fuck with Elon.
There's some quality, porn on
Twitter
Twitter.
still has value, and there's a lot of people who are not taking that step at all. There's some people who are like, yo, we done. Mm-hmm. And a lot of actual media people are like, he's censoring things, so they're like, we good.
I noticed that too. He's definitely pushing a certain narrative that I see more than the opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely doing that.
Which I mean, that's the kind of control he has. And what needs to happen is people who are high profile, who are followed on Twitter, will have to take that stand of, we ain't doing this no more. That's the only way you're going to make an impact on him and his pocketbook. But me, myself, I wasn't really much of a tweeter. I just go on there, somebody sent me a video where I was looking for some updated news, information for something outside the U.S.
AKA looking at porn.
I don't have to go to Twitter for porn, sir.
Yeah, because you got Reddit.
So,
Reddit porn
moving
is
right along.
God level. That's all I use Reddit for.
I am not using Reddit for porn. There are porn sites for porn.
Have you watched
not the
that?
pay for play stuff?
No, but have you watched the documentary on Pornhub?
On the actual site?
Yeah.
No,
not on the actual site, but about the actual site.
Nah.
It's on Netflix. You should. It's pretty good.
What's it called?
Oh, shit.
I ain't even heard of it.
I can't remember what it's called. I don't have the Netflix app on my phone because why?
I don't know.
Fuck. It's really good though. Like it's really, really good. They're pretty terrible, or were pretty terrible as a company.
Makes sense.
Money Shot. There it goes. The story of Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly decent. They've been sued, of course.
Yeah.
They've gotten in trouble for not taking down
revenge
videos, actual rape videos.
Oh wow.
Actual older dudes with younger lady type shit videos. They've gotten in trouble for that. Now they're more of a way for chicks that are in the industry, that have like OnlyFans and shit like that, to put out videos in their thing. So it's an interesting documentary. I watched it one day while I was at home working because I had shit else to watch. Like I wasn't watching my dudes play video games, and I wasn't watching Pat McAfee and shit like that. And
nice.
So I was like, hey, I'll watch it. So it's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, Pornhub and all those other sites that you use to get the free shit are kind of lacking now. And I feel like, me personally, just letting y'all into a little bit of personal life, it's a little dry on this side. I pretty much watched almost all the socially acceptable categories, and I'm starting to get into the weird shit, so I had to step away from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't ask you to go any further, especially now that you've announced weird shit.
Yeah.
But speaking of companies that aren't amazing, your boy John Morant got in trouble for
that's a pretty good segue.
for being a whole nigga out here and apparently flashing guns on IG.
Yeah.
What is your opinion, your take on this?
He's what, 23?
I think so, yeah. I think he's right at 23.
Initially it was like he's fucking dumb. That's what it was initially. Mm-hmm. And then I got to thinking about Court at 23. Court at 23 wasn't necessarily
not making great decisions.
Great decisions, especially when it came to firearms. Like, I don't know if I've ever told this story on a podcast. And
is it a really provocative story? Because if so, you should save it for extra time.
No, it's not really provocative. Okay. It's just dumb.
Oh well, yeah.
We were staying in Bastrop. Bastrop is a city that's outside of Austin. It's basically the country.
What was the name?
Yeah, I don't know where they got it from.
What the fuck is a Bastrop?
I don't know, but there's apparently multiple cities named Bastrop. There's one in Texas. I know there's one in Louisiana, and they're always, funny enough, Bastrop has, I think, according to back then, had the biggest membership of the KKK.
Comforting.
But there's like a ton of black people in Bastrop, and we're talking about the country, so everybody has guns. And where we were staying, we had multiple. Like we had a 45, we had a 9mm, we had several rifles, an SKS. Like literally, if they decided to do something stupid, it was not going to be good. Mm-hmm. And I got a little too careless with weapons. And what I used to do is, while checking, is make sure that the 9mm was empty, and I would put it to the side of my head, pull the trigger. It's in my 20s.
Why?
Because I was an idiot.
Why in God's name? What? Wait. Because there's being an idiot, and then there's like
also probably a little depressed.
Slow. I was about to say some slow creep.
Depression. Yeah, I probably was a little depressed.
That is not in any way that I've ever heard people checking to see if there's something in the chamber.
Right.
It's pretty.
But most of the time I knew there wasn't, except this one time.
Most of the time.
Except this one time. But instead of putting the gun to my head, I actually had it pointed down at the floor and pulled the trigger, and there was a live round in it. Brother was sitting right next to me. Bullet went through the floor. Like, it's probably still sitting in the floor to this day. Boy looked at me, grabbed the gun, and said, "Boy!" Snatched the gun out of my head, popped me in the back of the head. That's the last time I fucked around with like guns like that. And I had to think about that shit when it comes to Ja. We probably around the same age. Maybe I was like 22 and he was 23. But like when you're that young, you do dumb shit. And this is this generation's dumb shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just this generation's dumb shit. Like, they do dumb shit. Like, they go on IG Live with their weapons up and their cash out, you know, showing what they have, et cetera, et cetera. And this is just what they do. Like, you know, we can't look at these kids in the prism of what we did when we were coming up because we didn't have the same shit.
They have a different level of access to everything.
Right. And the popular thing to do is to go on these various platforms and boast and flex about the shit that you have, or to paint a narrative about the shit that you have. So initially, I called him a dumbass, and I didn't. This is before I knew about the incident where he went to the mall because his mom's got into it with some kid at Finish Line. I think honestly, I think the whole family is retarded. Or sorry for the folks out. Sorry, but. Not that not handy capable, but like just dumb, you know.
Wow.
But it's not making it any better at this point. But let me just go on.
Yes.
I think dude definitely needs to surround himself with a better with better people, basically.
A better family?
Because you can't get rid of them motherfuckers. But at least, does he have an uncle that just pulls up and was like, don't do that shit?
Apparently not.
Right.
It looked like the homeboy who was filming him tried to like put the phone down he realized. He did. Like, so he was trying to look out.
He did. He's like, oh shit. And he put the phone down real quick. So somebody went looking and took the screen. Like that took a lot of work to slow it down fast enough to where you can grab the screen grab to show this man handling the gun.
It's disturbing to me on so many levels because it's like this celebrity worship culture where every little thing they do has to be monitored, talked about, discussed. You got to share opinions on. Like you said, he's 23. He's young, dumb, and full of what we know. So to me, what bothers me is now, I guess, like he's losing deals with Nike and whatever. But this is what bothers me is that these corporations take the moral high ground. Like, well, we don't stand for that.
Right.
So we're going to cut ties with you. But what we do stand for still is that Nike is still linked over and over in various ways to child labor and unsafe conditions in their factories. As recently as 2020, investigations showed that Nike, along with Apple, was linked to forced labor from the Uyghur people in China. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the one that starts with the Uyghur. It's Uyghur. That's what I heard from somewhere. So I'm going with that. So yeah, a study by an Australian Strategic Policy Institute linked 83 companies as benefiting from abusive Uyghur transfer programs. Nike was named among those companies. They've also been accused on the American side of its corporate operations of gender discrimination against women and a culture of sexual harassment. And these are the people saying, no, you pulled out a gun, we won't do that. So my thing is like...
So has Nike said anything? Like, have they pulled a shoe or...
Yeah. They apparently he had something that was supposed to be released that they kind of suspended. And they had like ads about it and they took it out.
Oh, okay. Nah. I thought they still released the shoe, but
I think the shoe was already out there, but they're not promoting it. And I think they said that basically Nike did the same thing when it was who was it recently? I can't remember his name now, but it's kind of the same pattern. Like they suspended the shoe, they backed up off of it, and that's their way of getting to where they just distance themselves.
Not Gil, right? Not Gilbert Arenas.
Nah. Okay. It was somebody way since then.
Okay. Huh.
Not Harden. I can't remember who it was.
Basketball, though, right?
Yes. Basketball player did the same exact thing. So yeah, that's my issue. Is corporations taking the high ground against people when within your corporation you ain't even got skeletons in the closet. Like these still fresh bodies.
Right.
It ain't even been long enough for them to be skeletons. So that's why for me it's overblown. It's a combination of what you said. Everything you're doing is being recorded and magnified to the umpteenth power. So somebody has to slow down the video, get a screenshot, verify whatever. Like you're doing all that. Of this.
Right. You're doing all that.
For what?
For what? Right. Exactly.
So it's a combination of that and then a company that's paying you millions of dollars to represent them deciding, oh, well, since you're doing that, you can't represent us, which is fine. But also, this company has a terrible reputation that they haven't taken care of. So I say all that to say, I feel like the Josh situation is overblown. Yes, he's 23. He's doing stupid shit. We weren't all recorded at 23. Yes, he knows that. We're aware of that. He's apologized, I think, again. And this happened twice. So, whatever. But should the dude do it again? I mean, at some point, you got to accept that people are just who they are. And you either going to be like, all right, man, you a fucking knucklehead or a dickhead or whatever. But your talent is amazing. And so we're still going to use you for that. Or, you're too much of a threat to yourself and other people. That's that.
Right. So we're going to come back to this conversation. Got to take a pause for the calls real quick. Don't go anywhere. I mean, it's gonna be like a second for y'all, but more than that for us. You hit record. All right, there we go. We are back, folks.
Hello.
For y'all, that was just a second. For us, it was, a good time, man. Got pizza. Had to go out there and wrangle the delivery guy so he can find us. But outside of that,
Almost got attacked by a dog.
Almost got attacked by a vicious dog whose owner I'm coming back for. So we were talking about Ja, and I think I was making a point is at his age, I did dumb shit too. I think we all at that age did dumb shit. Maybe not to that extreme, but mine was super extreme.
Even beyond that, let's say Ja was 32.
Right.
Some niggas is niggas. Like, at some point, it's not about. So either you're going to try and force them to conform to your organizational standard, if you have one. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with all of these leagues, NFL, NBA. Can't really speak to like baseball and soccer, but you don't have.
You can't to a certain extent because look at the Yankees. Like, you can't have facial hair if you.
But see, and that's what I mean. There's no streamlined standard, and y'all going like certain penalties for certain. Like, it's people in the NFL that have killed people who have faced less harsh penalties than somebody who was tested positive for a PED or something like
right,
that.
or gambling.
Yeah,
with the league. Like, who was that just got that the indefinite suspension?
Ooh, I don't know. It wasn't a 49er.
I thought it. No, these was all Detroit Lions.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know his name there.
Yeah, this like happened this season, but then there was one last season too.
But see, and that's the point. Like,
right.
Niggas be beating on their wives and stuff. They get a 6-game suspension. Homeboy, and nobody's dropping them from ads or all that stuff. They just quietly hoping it goes away.
Right.
But I'm not saying that what Ja does or is doing doesn't have a danger element. But to that point, he ain't in the car with a bunch of kids. He in there with grown people. And if y'all just found out he had a gun when he pulled it out on Instagram Live, now you get to make a different decision. Otherwise, you know what you're walking into. So I feel like if it's not illegal within the state that he's in for him to carry,
which is not, is you don't have to have a.
Then what the fuck do I care?
You don't have to have a license. He's good to go when it comes to in Tennessee. It's an open carry state, so.
Then I don't care. And I think there are more efficient ways to let the public know that as a millionaire basketball player, I do carry a gun. But that's how he wanted to do it.
Right.
So that's him.
Which that kind of brought up a point. I forgot the name of the dude that he showed, white dude, that used to post his arsenal on various social media sites a few years back. I think the difference between the two wasn't a video of him pointing a gun at the camera, and it was just like him either at his home showing the guns in the safe or at a gun range where you expect there to be weapons out.
But we've also seen the white people on the postcard and everybody got an AR in their hand.
And that dude's from Tennessee. So
it can't, again, so then it's two rules depending on what color you are.
Right.
That's why I'm like, it ain't a big deal to me.
But we've always known that. You know what I'm saying? Because you've literally had Ja with the gun. Let's just say Ja wasn't in the NBA and he was just posting the shit. Just a 23-year-old kid out there posting the shit. Working at the Piggly Wiggly. I'm assuming that's what they have in Memphis because of country. But
Memphis got good barbecue. That's what they say. Have you had some?
I guess. Wow. I've had Memphis style barbecue here.
Okay, you gotta go to Memphis though, and
but like
it might live up to the hype.
Like, we'll talk about that later because Kansas City claims to be the best. I'm from Kansas City, and I tell you, absolutely not. It is what it is. But had that been, he probably would have been on some sort of watch list or some shit like that, and the police looking at him and whatnot. But we've seen time and time, you have white males or white adjacent males that post salacious shit online also post guns online and
right
until some shit happens.
Because that is because the apparatus that has Overwatch on them, the media, the league is full of white people.
Right.
So for them, if they see two different screens and one of them is a white man holding a gun and the other is a black man holding a gun, they could be holding it the same way. They're going to have different feelings about both. And that's the problem. And that's why I'm like, everybody going on Jai, and he's so dumb and he's so this and he's so that. To your point, if a white dude does it, or if he's posting with him and his family and they all gunned up, nobody cares.
Right.
That's just a part of the culture.
Right. So are we at a point to where we need to stop this whataboutism shit?
I think, well, one, I'm not a fan of that on any level. I feel like it misdirects you from solving any problems.
The issue, right. The whole what about Chicago argument, yeah.
Right. And it's like we have the bandwidth and capacity as people to focus on more than one issue at a time.
Right.
And to talk about it. So I'm not a fan of whataboutism. The problem with it is they hijacked it, the right, the Republicans, the whites, they hijacked it from black people because we had to use it as a component to break down racial stereotypes and racism.
Right.
That was the only way we could put that across. It wasn't until a nigga was like, yo, y'all racist. And they're like, no, nobody's racist here, Johnson. What are you talking about?
Right.
We all afforded the same opportunities. And you like, nigga, when it was my birthday, y'all gave me a cupcake at my desk. When it was their birthday, all of their birthday, it's damn near a day off. You got a whole dessert and everything.
Right.
So now that's the whataboutism, quote unquote. But it's like it's pointing out the disparity.
Right. When they use the whataboutism as a weapon.
Yes.
As a weapon or to lessen a point. Like, you know, Black Lives Matter, but what about Chicago? Right.
It's literally to take the attention off of the actual issue and put it on something else. Whereas for us, we're using, I guess maybe it's not whataboutism, but something similar. We're using that compare and contrast to focus you in on we are being treated unfairly. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you need whataboutism with Ja. I think if there's going to be a rule in regards to, for example, IG videos with guns, then that rule needs to cover everyone. And you can determine how far back it goes because maybe we need to backdate some stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, have a backlog and whatever, catch some penalties. But you can't just hone in on this one man and drop a ton of bricks on him and expect it to be okay. That's my problem.
Right. Well, I think also John needs to have some personal accountability when it comes to the shit. You know that you have the target on your back. Like, and
he has been accountable in his apologies. Like, he ain't blamed it on nobody else or anything. He's taking responsibility
for the shit. I think the whole, 2 days at the facility or wherever the fuck they sent him was bullshit. There was no reason to do that shit. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you feel a certain way, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling, anxious from the pressures of being who you are for the team you are in the league that you're in, then, yeah, you need more of a sustained therapy. But outside of that, you're basically a portrait of what American culture is to begin with. Americans love guns.
Facts.
Americans love their guns more than they care about kids' lives.
They love guns. Yep.
They love the power that it brings. They love the fact that, they can go out and buy guns and claim that it's self-defense, where these guns basically are a half a step from being fully auto machine guns and shit. And you're talking to someone who owns guns, who believes in the ownership of guns. But I also believe that, okay, we need to probably put some checks and balances in some shit, because literally, and I guess this is another segue, we literally a week ago had some dude go up and shoot a fucking mall of people. 8 or 9 people that died?
I think it was 8.
Okay, so 8 people out of there. 9 included his goofy ass self.
Around the corner from us.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
About
a place
20 minutes from here
that I've been either because voluntarily or begrudgingly been several times. You know what I'm saying?
Christmas time, that's where everybody at.
Exactly. I literally had a conversation with 4 people who said that if something hadn't came up that day, they would have been there. Mm-hmm. B would have been there because she was planning on going to this one store she was telling me about. My coworker would have been there because something. No. This is my director that would have been there because something with her son. I think prom or some bullshit that she had to go up there, but something came up and she had to work. My coworker lives across the street from that motherfucker and shit. So I'm like, yo, like we have several problems in this country, and guns is one of them. You know what I'm saying? We have a white supremacist problem in this country. As much as you motherfuckers want to act like we don't,
I don't. And so here's my thing, and I think the wording is important. The more and more I learn about it, and so when I think about it, it's not just. I mean, guns, yes, is a problem, but gun worship, right? That's the issue. These niggas worship guns and see it as a failsafe against them being treated the way they've treated other people. That is the bottom line at the end of the day. The whole idea of a well-formed militia, all that kind of stuff, is we are white. We have done so much foul shit to everybody else. We don't want them to arm up and treat us the way we've been treated. Them. Right. So we will stay armed so that we'll never be on the bottom of the totem pole, period. Yep. And if that means, gay people, black people, Hispanic people, kids got to lose their lives, then fuck it. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's what it is.
Well. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what they've decided.
The price of doing business, I guess. This dude, I don't remember what his name is, and I don't really care because fuck him. Apparently was Hispanic, but also a Nazi sympathizer, which make fucking sense for me, people.
The fact that they're trying to normalize Nazism, and so people be on your boy Talib because they say he called everybody a Nazi, and I think he's very extreme with it, but also
super extreme,
way extreme. But also, who else is pointing out Nazism though, and how problematic it is because they're trying to make it normal for it to be mainstream again, and that's the whole point is. Let's shift things on education. Let's shift things on like everything they're doing is calculated to normalize things that should be and would be a problem. Period.
Period. Right.
Let's sanitize the history books so that we take slaves out, indentured service now. Rosa Parks did great things. We don't have to mention her race.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about Florida, but Florida and Texas seem to be in the competition to be the most fucked up
exactly.
states in the union.
But but Texas seems to have a little bit more whoa.
Texas has just enough whoa that like you're like, all right, maybe I can, but I don't know, man. Hot Wheels be on some bullshit.
Do he?
And he really be pushing some things, and you be like, why does this
doesn't make sense, right? Why does it matter?
Don't affect you,
right?
And that's why my current working theory, I'm not advocating anyone do this. Let me start with that. But my current working theory is the only way you're going to detach their hands from the money that they receive from the gun lobbies and from the NRA is for something gun related to happen to them or someone very close in proximity to them. Yeah. Like their grandkid, their daughter, or something like
Guarantee if Greg Abbott's son, daughter, granddaughter, or whatever, grandson was at that mall, there would be fucking hell to pay right now.
That's a difference.
There'd be so many mountains moved and regulations out this and that.
And that's the issue with politics is because it shouldn't have to be that close to you for you to have empathy and decide, hey, we got to do something different.
What do they call that? Oh shit! I just had it.
What?
I just had it. Something. I don't know. It'll come to me. Oh my god! I can't remember.
Describe.
Like you were saying, it's not directly happening to you, so it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And until it does, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Until it's at your doorstep.
There's a phrase for it that I'm looking for.
Oh.
And I can't think of it right now, and I just had it.
I don't know. Until it's something that they have to literally look at somebody they love's face and see that pain and suffering, they're apathetic to it because it's not going to outweigh the millions of dollars they're being provided to change their family's generational wealth. I don't know where Greg Abbott comes from. I don't know what kind of wealth he comes from. I don't know that he had any before he had his accident.
Right.
So now think about that. I'm a man in a wheelchair, right? There's only so much I could do, but I can set my family up for generations to come.
Right.
And you're trying to talk me out of that because some fucking random kids who I don't know got shot down here because the police were cowards in Uvalde and whatever. So for him, it's like it's a scale. Like I'm weighing this. Like which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, me.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like until that's something until there's a penalty that touches them. I think the same thing for McConnell, for all of those people, until it's at their doorstep.
But the funny thing is, with January 6th, it fucking was.
For some of them.
Definitely
for Pence.
Right.
They had to whisk Pence up out of there. They was trying to murder my boy. But for others, it was like, all right, I'm on the right side of this. And this continues to be the disparity, too, I think, between Democrats and Republicans, is that Republicans are willing to go to whatever extreme, and Democrats want to straddle the middle. They're willing to talk about extremes, but they ain't going to go to it.
Right.
Like, there's nobody showing up in Mitch McConnell's house with a bat talking about, I fuck with AOC and you a bitch. But they'll show up at AOC, they'll send threats,
right.
They'll talk about what they're going to do to her.
Right. Or we're not, they're not, I'm not going to say we're because I'm not. They're not taking a car or van load of the dead bodies of the kids and the people that die and laying them across, certain people's steps. But other side, they're shipping immigrants from down here and everywhere and leaving them at, the vice president's doorstep.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mansions. Yep.
So, or sending them to other cities that are sanctuary cities. You
and
know
my
what I'm saying?
thing is, I didn't know that you could just do that. I don't understand, and this is just my opinion. You send me, so let's say I'm the governor of New York. Mm-hmm. You send people to my mansion, they outside, you drop them off. Here, you like immigrants so much, here they go. Cool. Nigga, I'm sending bags of unused fertilizer. Like, I'm going to send so much shit to you.
Right.
You will leave me the fuck alone.
I'm just I'm wondering if that's the legality of that is that technically human trafficking. And if I was
like it.
Yeah, it feels like it, right? Like if I was the governor of New York and Hot Wheels sent, all those folks up there, like, well, I'm issuing a warrant for conspiracy of human
Catching
trafficking,
the case,
whatever,
yeah.
right?
And I'm sure he spoke with a attorney general, but then also it depends on if your attorney general is right leaning or left leaning, whether they willing to bring
to do that shit, right?
But that's why I'm like, cool. If it's cool for you to do that, then I'm sending everything I could think of that's foul and terrible. I'm sending a bag of dead skunks.
Right. What's the worst thing that if you're in New York, like you have a problem with? Rats?
I'm sending rats.
Rats, right.
And we dropping them off at your door.
Or trash.
Like, this is not a one-way street.
Right.
And this is the problem there, is because they'll do that, and then Democrats will, quote-unquote, want to take the high ground. Like, they'll just talk about it or whatever. Bruh, you want to get down and dirty, then fuck it. Let's go.
Right.
I'm sending rats. I'm sending homeless. I ain't gonna do that. But I'm sending rats. I'm sending manure. I'm sending everything.
Trash.
I'm sending all kinds of things that are not alive but smell terrible and are just unpleasant to be around. I'm sending them to you. Cool. We'll take your people. You take this.
It's a fair trade-off.
People
we need to make room.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need to make room. So
that's fine.
It's a fair trade-off.
I don't know why nobody's done that.
Yeah.
I don't know why nobody's done that.
They ain't got somebody like us in office.
That's a consistent problem.
Right.
Because you don't have to, whatever, man. And then also, I've read articles about them talking about, the value of like Mamie Till showing Emmett Till's face versus like Uvalde. Some kids got shot in the face.
Yeah.
But they parents ain't like, let's show the world what happened.
What happened, right.
And that needs to happen also.
Or with Sandy Hook or or Parkland or any of that shit. Like, yo,
That
like
needs to
I
happen.
think I would be the same way. Like, I'd be like, yo, I want y'all to see.
If you grab a Newsweek or a New York Times and on the front cover is one of these little kids with their face blown open, you don't think that's gonna have an impact? Mm-hmm. Come on, bro. We are a media coverage country. We are into whatever the media is putting out there,
Regardless of how much you motherfuckers say y'all hate them.
man. They own it though,
Right?
Absorbing it all day, and somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to be bold enough to allow that to happen in spite of the tragedy that happens to their family, and bold enough in the media to produce that in spite of the blowback that they might get.
Right.
Because it's that time. Like, we're at that point where, like you said, you're at the fucking mall, man. Ain't nobody think about that.
We're shopping.
You out here trying to figure out why is there a line to get in Nike? Like,
Right.
what we doing?
What are we doing?
And somebody pull up and start shooting niggas outside?
Man.
Like, what?
And one thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about around this topic was the old boy and his Nazi, being a Nazi sympathizer, which again tends to happen. I mean, yeah, we have niggas that we call, Sambos that rep the other side hard, but it seems to be a trend with communities who can assimilate, none more so than with the Latino and Latina sector. And we were talking about this at work on Thursday. Shout out to my girl Maddie. She's a proud Boricua, Puerto Rican from New Jersey. And she was talking about, like, it's bad in PR.
Yeah.
The motherfuckers do not want to be aligned with black, which regardless of how you look over in Puerto Rico, you have black in you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The original natives that were on the island mixed with the slaves, also mixed with the Spaniards or whoever.
You treated like it.
Right.
When they had all them storms, look, Donald Trump went down there passing out paper towels.
Right, throwing towels in the crowd and shit.
What
like,
the fuck?
Like he was shooting free throws and
shit. You know what I'm saying?
He
went down there like, well, done my duty.
You know what I'm saying?
Good luck, guys.
Some of the motherfuckers still ain't got power.
Destroyed the infrastructure of the island.
Right, but you feel like you're above us. And then we started talking about, like, it's even worse in the Dominican Republic. Yeah. Like, the Dominican Republic and Haiti basically share an island.
Yeah.
And Haitians come over there for work all the time. And if they're there after the sun goes down, they're usually getting harassed, beat up, or even worse, killed.
Yeah.
And then my man Drew, shout out to Drew, didn't know about what Sammy Sosa looks like nowadays. And I was like, you haven't seen Sammy Sosa?
Oh.
And he was like, no. I was like, yeah, my man basically looks like fucking Snagglepuss and shit nowadays.
Well, like a caricature.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Pink Panther and shit out here. Look at it. Exit, stage right even.
My name's Sammy Sosa.
Oh no, heaven's the Murgatroyd.
Welcome to the
island. We're glad you're here. And my man, like, in the interview, contradicted himself. He was like, I use this cream that has a bleaching agent in it to soften my skin when I go to sleep. But I'm not bleaching my skin. I'm not racist. I'm happy. My life is happy. It's like, you basically contradicted yourself. And I paraphrase, but that was basically the quote. You know what I'm saying? You contradicted yourself in that statement, cuz. You're using the cream knowingly that it bleaches your skin. At the end result, your skin gets bleached.
Here, my thought is, and I've known specifically Mexican people who I met here in Texas who you would call white adjacent, is in terms of they've more. There, not that there's not some aspects of white culture that are, derived from Mexican culture. Mm-hmm. Bull riding, cowboy stuff like that didn't start here. So
right.
I get that. Like, that's got Brazilian roots and all kind of stuff. But they would rather be acknowledged with white people than with people of color. And my thought there is that it makes sense. It makes sense because I don't think what people think of sometimes. Okay, so you're on this earth, and let's say you're actually in America. Whether you came here, born here, don't fucking matter. You're here. You have so many years to live on this earth. How do you want to live
it? Right.
Do you want to be in constant struggle every fucking day, or do you want to be accepted, acknowledged, seen, and feel like you're a part of something that's winning? And that's how I see it. Like, that's what they want. They like, yo, I had to struggle over here with my people or whatever, you know. We got our infighting between each other for various reasons. So I come over here, yeah, I'm Mexican, and maybe I code switch. But ultimately, I need to be acknowledged as a part of this culture so that my family can be safe and winning as we go forward, instead of us having to struggle, figure it out, face racism. And they're eventually going to.
Always.
Whether they want to or
not.
not.
Always.
But they're hoping that they can put enough distance between them and it that when it hits, maybe that person will be like, oh, okay, man, you kind of one of us. It's not going to happen. But I think that's where they find, you know, safety in that idea.
Right.
Because to your point, like even with the Dominicans and the Haitians, colorism. So colorism is this major issue. And it's like you said, we basically inhabit the same island on different parts. We're different colors. Nobody's less than or better than anyone else. It's just a matter of this is where you from, this is where I'm from, this is how I look, this is how you look. And it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy to turn this into a battle of class.
Right.
And that's what it ends up becoming. But that is a part of capitalism. And Hispanic people know, if I come here, who is on the bottom of the totem pole in this country? Black people.
Black people, right. Perceived.
Perceived. So why would I want to be associated with them?
Which perceived for them, but technically is them.
In a lot of ways. But I think because of the way that they see it and the way they are willing to acknowledge and work through certain things, they don't see themselves like that. I feel like you could take Asian people, Hispanic people, Middle Eastern people, take all of them, put them in separate rooms, ask them which culture, which race they think is on the bottom of the totem pole, and I think black people
black. Yeah,
will be the answer.
Most definitely.
Now, like Dave Chappelle said, we've taken some turns because at about October 2nd in 2011, Middle Eastern people be like, nigga, that's us.
Right.
All day. Y'all on our ass.
Right.
You know, they took their turn in the racial hot seat. White people never end up in this seat because they are in the seat of power. So everybody wants to buddy up to the seat of power. I read about this even dealing with Irish people and Jewish immigrants. It's
Italians,
the same thing.
Yeah.
Because when they came over here, there was some division amongst white people where it's like, I mean, you same skin color, but you ain't with us.
We ain't us. Gangs of New York.
Boom. You ain't with us.
Awesome fucking movie, but one of my favorite movies.
Long as hell.
It is long as fuck.
Very interesting, well acted. I like it. It's just long. But yes, same thing. Like, you not with us, even though you look like whatever. So it took time for that merging to happen to where you just be considered white. Mm-hmm. Whether you Irish, you know, whatever. Like, it just depends on whatever. So, and that was a strength in numbers move too. Because they didn't have to accept them or be like, you know, and they fought against it. But ultimately, you got people coming from everywhere. So it's like, why wouldn't we want more
people to be like us?
With us.
Right.
So to that point, we're willing to accept certain Hispanic people who want to act like they with us because there's strength in numbers. Period. There's always strength in numbers. And I feel like they know that. And they're like, yo, I can align myself with my people who are seen as the groundskeepers, they do all the work that nobody else wants to do.
Right.
So I can align myself with that, or black people who niggas will get shot for no reason,
mm-hmm.
or I can align myself with the people who have IRAs, generational wealth, property, real estate. They passing down stuff to their family. I mean, that's an easy choice.
Right.
That's an easy choice.
Right. Because that's the crazy thing, because we're the only group who can't technically assimilate.
We can't. We definitely, like you said, there's some of us who will try, though.
Right. Oh, absolutely. There's a shit ton of us that try. You know what I'm saying?
But
and then end up getting reminded when some shit goes down that you ain't nothing but a
and
nigga.
Hispanic people will too. It just, far and few more in between, because there's a certain threat level when it comes to black people and policing in America.
I know a Hispanic chick who kind of knows, like, I'm probably the whitest Hispanic girl that you've ever met. It's like, I don't speak Spanish. I married a white dude. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just, when she told me that, I just kind of like, dude, like, you know what I'm saying? There's no, like, the trade-off for me, you say, tonight, Court, your last night, being black, when you wake up, carefree life, because now you could be considered white.
What was that movie where he woke up white? He was a newscaster. It's back from the 90s.
Living Large.
Yeah.
My man, Kyle, TC Carson from Living Single, yeah.
Golly.
We used to watch the fuck out of that shit when we were kids, too, me and my sister. Because my man, he sold out, you know what I'm saying? Like, he sold out.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like, his girl in the joint, she's still fine. Well, like, I can't blame him from trying to hit the white girl, too, because I probably would have.
Amazing.
But I'm not forsaking my black queen. For I'm just dabbling a little bit.
You can't. Those are conflicting views.
Hey, if Sammy can fucking do it, so can I.
Wow.
And she's still my black queen. I just dabbled a little bit. I wanted a taste, just a taste. Oh, man, Mark.
The views of court do not necessarily reflect the views of We Ain't Found Shit.
They do, though.
Subsidiaries and other components.
There's only two of us now.
When I was in my late 20s, I dated a Mexican girl that I went to high school with. Mm-hmm. And her family lived out in Wiley and stuff. And I ain't going to say her name or nothing, but we dated for a few months. And it was that was the breakdown. Like, we got along fine. Personalities, cool. The problem was...
Her name didn't start with an S, did it?
No.
Okay. Because that's amazing that two of the same would be in the same area. Because old girl I was talking about was from Wiley.
Oh, man. If you ever been to Wiley, you see
so,
very quickly why that's the case. So,
okay, I got you.
But, like, she has sons and, not military, police in her family. And I remember we had a conversation one time, and she was like, so, like, if we was at the game or something, blah, 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 and they do the national anthem, what would you do? And I'm like, depend on my mood. I was like, I might stand up. I was like, I don't really put my hand over my heart. I said, sometimes I just sit there. And she was like, yeah, I know some guys in my family that would have a problem with that. I'm like, they can come see me. So we can have a conversation about it because, I'm exercising my right to do as I please when it comes to that. But it's that mentality of, like, this allegiance to this country, because it's like this buy-in where if I'm allegiant to it, I'll get the things that I'm supposed to get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we got people that die that believe that never ever touched that.
Die surprised as fuck.
Right.
I didn't get the things.
Right.
What happened?
And it kind of leads back into what we were talking about earlier, dying and waiting to get some shit. Like, that shit is fucking weird to me. You know what I'm saying? And blind allegiance to anything is weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I live in America.
Yeah.
I have love for this country because it contains the things and the people that I care about.
Yeah.
But I am aware of the fucked up shit we do around this world. In the name of
multiple continents.
Liberty, democracy, justice, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we foul.
As hell.
Yeah.
As hell.
Yeah. We've been a part of some really, really foul points in history. In recent history, people be thinking like, well, that was years ago. No.
We're talking about 2-3 years
just
ago.
Because that's my issue with reporting now, and like with the media being attacked, because now it changes the way and revolutionizes the way people are able to report. Because we still drop drone bombs on Somalia and Afghanistan and stuff. But it's like, if it's not in the paper, you don't know.
You don't know about it.
So we're not touched by it because it's too far away. But our country does these things daily, weekly, monthly. We are destroying people's everything, you know? So it's like, it's very hard to take pride in that. It's very hard to pledge allegiance to that because I'm not a part of those decisions and I don't agree with those decisions.
Right.
And I'll never stand for that, so to speak. Here's the thing. That same girl, her son was in the car with some of his friends from Wiley, and they got pulled over, and he was the only one that was asked to get out the car. And it ended up being a thing of where she was hot that it happened, and she was talking about, I got family that's and they associated with the police force. And I'm telling her, and I'm like, I get it, because you have this allegiance to this idea, this dedication to this idea. But when a Caucasian police officer pulls over a car with two white boys and a Hispanic boy, they got an issue with one of them.
Yeah, with one of them.
They trying to figure out what's going on with one of them.
One suspicious, and the one is just, kids being kids.
And I'm like, there's no flannel shirt and belt buckle that's going to overwhelm the color of his skin in the eyes of somebody else. And there's nothing you can do about that. And I'm like, it's the hard truth you have to accept. And I don't, I think because, she got a bunch of white girlfriends. Like, she's inhabited this bubble and feels like that stuff shouldn't apply
to her.
And the more that I immerse myself, the further I am from it. And that's when those rude awakenings happen.
Yeah, so she got a wake up call.
Yeah.
So did it change anything, or did she just go right back?
It made her feel like it's because this officer wasn't close enough to this community to know who this boy is and who his family is.
But that's policing in 2020 or 20, whatever year it was. You know what I'm saying?
I felt like it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from, let's just call it what it is. But if that's how you live in, that's how you live in.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying some people rationalize in their mind because it makes it easier to accept and swallow what's going on.
I kind of wonder if she still feels the same way.
I would assume she does.
She does? Okay.
There was no indication. I mean, we only dated for, I feel like just a couple months, few months or whatever. But there was no indication that anything would or had changed. So I think it's the same. I think it would take an extreme act for
her to figure it out.
Yeah. It probably happened to her sons.
Right.
Should anything happen.
She's probably with a white boy now, too, most likely.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you smash?
It makes sense.
You don't have to answer that question if you want to.
I'm not.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
My bad.
Amazing.
My bad.
So, yeah, man, it's just like one of them things where people want to have proximity to the seat of power. That's all. And I think a lot of people are infinitely aware of the clock on their life. And it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do, even if it flies in the face of what I know to be true.
Right. I mean, and I get it because, having that extra shit on top of what already bullshit you're going to get from life, it's fucking hard. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I just think don't lose yourself in trying to be something that to the folks who are, you'll never be. Matter of fact, they'll make fun of you for the shit. I've heard it. I've seen it. She's the whitest black girl, or he's the whitest black dude I know, or she's the whitest, Mexican girl I know, and so on and so forth. Like, I've fucking seen it, cuz.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard it. I've heard the jokes, you know what I'm saying, from the wiggers to the, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's just not, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And it's only beneficial when it's beneficial, and then when they no longer can benefit from it. Like, it's what it is. It ain't gonna work. But shout out,
brings them peace for some time.
Shout out to the decent ally folks from the Caucasus Mountains we got out there, man. I don't want y'all to feel
all three of y'all
isolated.
All three of y'all.
Don't you feel isolated, cuz? Oh, man.
That's the thing too. Like, I mean, the allyship, which is great, and it's cool if you can recognize racism and bigotry and all that, and say something about it. But you even find within those ranks, like they only go so
far, right?
You know, because then when you cross, I heard somebody say the other day. At this point, like when you think of the Republican Party and stuff, it's a one issue party. So what they mean by that is not that there's not multiple issues, but if you're in agreement with them for one issue, people will ride with them on everything. Mm-hmm. So if you're in agreement about abortion being banned, then all right, I'm not really with the guns, but I don't believe in abortion.
So I'll kick it. I'll kick it. So my shit, and I think that's probably like the majority. Mm-hmm. The majority. I'm not. The CRT, critical race theory. I'm not a big fan of that, but abortion. Like, I think people should be able to choose. But I don't want this shit. So yeah.
Which I think is terrible because it doesn't leave room for nuance and opinions for them. Because you should be able to, if you against CRT, but you for a woman's right to choose, you should be able to have both. And if you don't have a party that reflects that, you should still be bold enough to stand up and say, hey, this is what I believe, and that's where it is. But instead, you ride with whatever that one thing is that you want through. And I'm saying that to say it's the same thing when it comes to allyship sometimes. Sometimes it's like, I can recognize racism and I can say something about it, but not sexism, not homophobia,
right?
Not, when black women who organize and do everything are suddenly treated like afterthoughts, you just kind of like...
Right. Hold on to that thought because I want us to... or remember that because on the bonus episode, again, $5 a month.
Here we go.
You'll be able to hear it. I want to talk about that thing that you sent on IG with MLK. I want that to be I want that to be the topic because I was thinking that the whole 50-50 thing would be the topic, but I actually want people to hear this shit because I want to start discussions on that. So since we only have one Patreon subscriber who we love and appreciate, who he loves and I appreciate.
Absolutely.
I want people to be able to actually, chime in on this who are not. But hopefully, once they hear this episode, if they were on the fence, they're off the fence because they go ahead and put their credit card in. Like $5, yo. Like you spend more than that at Starbucks, guaranteed. Because you're not walking out of there not spending $7 on that.
It ain't many places coffee. Leaving without spending $5.
Right. You can't. Yeah, there's no such thing as a dollar menu anymore.
And they was real slick with it. The $3 menu.
Right.
Like, hold on,
the 4 for $4.
The 4 for $4. That's all you gotta do is make it kind of get a little rhyme.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little rhyme to it.
I said people would take it.
$5 footlongs.
People, they'll like it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to them.
So, since I bring it up, let's go ahead and just transition to that 50-50. We'll make that the last topic of the regular podcast. So, of late, I've been seeing on the internet in various places, so Reddit, Twitter and Reddit mainly, but Instagram too, it came up, is the whole 50-50 argument when it comes to relationships. And one of the posts that I saw that said, sis, if he's making you go 50-50 on the bills, he's not your man, he's your roommate. And that's a dangerous, I think is a dangerous viewpoint to have in 2023. And oddly enough, before I came to record, I was having a conversation with my sister, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't believe in a 50-50 relationship. I think the man should take care of the things in the household." Yeah. And we were having a discussion about it, and I gave her a scenario, and I was like, if I'm with a lady and we're either living together or married or whatever. And let's say I make $90,000 a year, and she makes 40. Like it is absolutely, and our rent. We have a house, and our rent or our mortgage is $3,000 a month. In that sense, it would be absolutely unfair for me to be like, yeah, babe, every month you give me $1,500. It's unfair, you know what I'm saying? But you gonna do something. You gonna pay.
So what does something entail?
Like when I say 50-50, for me, it's not an actual. We split everything down the middle. Even though I've done that. I do that now. You know what I'm saying with the roommate. Really, really. And before we were roommates, when we were together, we did that. It was 50-50. Down the middle, everything. But like in a situation like that, okay, yeah, I can hold down the big bills. Like I can make sure that, you know, the mortgage is paid and any insurance that comes with that is paid and car insurance. And if we have one car, which really doesn't make sense in 2023, and make sure that's paid for. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you got the lights, you got the water. Can you do the cable? Can you do the internet? You know what I'm saying? So no, it doesn't equate to the amount of money that I'm paying. So it's not equally as far as funds is concerned, but we're both carrying the load. So to me, that's like a 50-50 mindset. You know what I'm saying? I'm covering shit.
Shared burden.
Shared burden. It's not the same amount. It's not the same shit. Yeah. But you're also
putting in
and sharing the burden, and not just, oh, I'm making my money. I'm pocketing it, and you know, cuz it's taking care of everything.
Yeah.
So that's what, for me, that's a 50-50 mindset. Now, and I gave her another example. I was like, now, if we're both making $90,000, then fuck yeah, we're splitting everything down the middle. Because we're on even footing.
I see.
Or you gonna take a big bill and I'm gonna take a big bill. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck yeah. Like
what would be the issue in your mind? Not devil's advocate, but ish.
Mm-hmm.
With you both make $90,000.
Uh-huh.
Let's say your monthly house mortgage is $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So either one of y'all could take
it. Right. No problems.
What would be the issue with you taking that and some of the larger bills and her taking the smaller ones and maybe retaining a little bit more of her money?
It depends on what's happening with said money.
Okay. What do you need to happen for that to?
I need said money to not only benefit her. Because like if that money isn't going towards, you know, us, I don't know, starting a business, or, you know, not even that, like vacations and things, you know, of leisure that we want to do. You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to, like, you know, our entertainment or us having fun, or say if we had a kid, like that money that she's saving isn't going towards, like, for the future or the betterment of that child. Mm-hmm. And it's just for her to go and buy, you know, a Louis Vuitton or Red Bottoms or whatever the fuck. I have a problem with that because I don't get that same luxury because I'm paying for everything. Like, you know, I'm not getting the Louis Vuitton. Not that I want it or anything like that, but like I'm not able to spend a chunk of my money on whatever I want to, because a good portion of my money is going to keeping the house afloat. And I feel like that's kind of the way my sister was leaning. Not necessarily in that way, but like kind of like, you know, like the man is supposed to shoulder the burden of the household, this and that and that and the other.
It's a traditional idea.
Right. And what I told her is that she's like, well, what gives you what makes you think that it should be that way this day? And I was like, the 2023 economy makes me feel like it should be that way.
Mm-hmm. So, to add to that dynamic, let's say she's not just, quote, spending it all on herself.
Right.
Is there a percentage you need capped on herself? Because at this point, it's her money. Like, she earned it by working.
Right. Right.
So, but then you're telling her how to spend her
I'm
money.
not telling. I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. I'm not telling. I am aggressively suggesting.
AKA telling.
Okay, AKA telling. But it's not telling from like, you got to do what I got to say. It's like, what's fair? What equality looks like.
But to your sister's point, fairness is in the eye of, the perspective of that person.
Right, like beauty's the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, so it's like if 60-40 is fair to somebody, with you being 60 and them being 40, are you okay with that being fair? Or like how close do they need to be to 50-50?
Like I said, it's not an actual like dollar amount, right? It's a 50-50 feel.
So let me give you a scenario. You got you a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stick with y'all both make $90K.
Right.
All right. Y'all got a house.
Mm-hmm.
You paying the bulk of the bills. Not just the rent. Let's say you're doing electricity and water.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she's doing car note and insurance.
Okay.
So she's doing a portion. But she's also...
We got multiple cars?
Sure.
Okay. So she's
2 cars.
So she's paying the car insurance for both cars and notes for both cars.
Are we making this realistic?
We can.
Okay. So she's paying car insurance for her car.
Mm-hmm.
And note for maybe both. Maybe she's doing a note for both.
Okay.
Insurance for one. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
So...
But so is a whole fucking rent.
Wait.
Okay.
But so the additional thing that she's providing beyond, her personality, beauty, ability to have a child, which apparently we don't come with per se.
I didn't know that had a market value, but okay.
In terms of succession, in terms of future generations, I think it has value.
But you can't have one without the other. Like if I don't bring my if she doesn't bring a milkshake to the yard, then I can't. Damn right, it's better than her. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, perfect, right?
But she can, because now she can do sperm donating or.
But she still needs a dude.
Ideally.
Okay.
So off of that, let's say she's also done the interior decoration for your home, so your home is something you're proud of. She's also wait. She's also cooks, let's say 3 nights a week.
Okay.
And she also, plans out vacations,
mm-hmm.
different things that y'all are gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So in effect, when she's not at work, there's still some ways she's working.
Right.
How much of this does she have to do to lessen the 50-50 split? Because that was the original design by men, by the way, which was, you can't work, you can't make as much as me. You can pop out some babies.
Right. You can clean these floors, you can do these dishes.
Right. Depending on your lineage and your ability to take care of the home, that's how I'm choosing per se. And now we're advanced beyond that to where not only women making money, they can make more money than us. And it's still a hard road, though. Like, it's not like they just eased into it.
Right.
There's still a pay gap. There's still gender wage, fluctuation and all that kind of stuff. So, all of that considered. And if you're dealing with a black queen, as you said earlier, because you're not just dipping and dabbling, this is a lifetime relationship. So, she's got to deal with everything that's against black women in this world. Provide a home you can be proud of. Cook food that God knows picky ass is willing to eat.
Listen.
Picky. Picky.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Is willing to eat and potentially pop out a child or two. So I'm just saying, from her perspective, she got to do all this. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be like, I got to pay the whole goddamn rent. And the electric bill.
And the water.
And the water.
And the gas. I'm assuming that water and gas go hand in hand.
Okay. And you think this is sufficient?
For her?
Right. Like that she should sign up for this deal.
That you just laid out.
Yes. Would you advise your sister to sign up for these terms?
That doesn't sound too bad. What? No, you could go wow, what? Like, listen. So, in my eyes, the whole
That doesn't sound too bad.
whatever,
It's a ringing endorsement.
the whole decorating the house shit, like, it benefits her too.
I mean, it does, but we're men, and
I think I got a good sense of style. I think I'd be able to decorate a house.
I assume you've lived alone at some point.
No, never.
Okay, so then there's that. As a man who has lived alone before, the way your place looks when you are by yourself versus when a woman puts any part of her effort into it it's a Grand Canyon size gap. Nobody's going to walk in my apartment right now and not think, at some point maybe there was a woman who helped you out with some stuff, maybe.
I can see that.
Right. Because she has.
But
But when it was just me, this is not here. I don't give a fuck about some of these things. Like, it's going to be couch TV, somewhere to put my drink.
because we're usually like on that minimum side. Like,
So when you say I could decorate and be fine, I'm sure you can. But there's an almost inherent sense of, for a woman, of like, I can really make this our home. Like,
it's called nested.
Okay.
Yeah, nested. Like,
Okay.
But I would think, like, okay, so my attitude when it comes to like home decor and shit like that, especially when it's an apartment, I don't care because I don't own it. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, I might hang up some shit. I might, do some decorating and shit, but I'm not like putting shit out on the balcony because I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Or going to look for, Oriental rugs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Let me find a decent rug at Walmart for $59
'Cause
so
you're
I
a
can put
man.
that. Yeah, right. So, but we're talking about, like, if we're talking about my house and I'm paying a mortgage on, it's a different mindset for me. It's like, okay, I'm going to be here for a while, so.
You going to be here in your apartment. You live there. At least for a year.
For a fucking year.
That's 365 days you got to look at these walls.
But it's not 30 years.
So for me to go outside and see furniture on the balcony makes a difference depending on the day, because again, I do have to live here. So now you've enhanced an area that I normally would not myself. And I think this is the undervalued and hard to quantify part of, and not saying women just add value in the home, but like a woman enhances things that you can't quantify.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
And not just your home.
Okay.
She's gonna enhance your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna enhance your efforts
towards
something.
This is all speculative, right? Like,
I mean, if you are dealing with a woman who wants you guys to both be better,
right, then
that is probably what's gonna happen. Now, if you're dealing with a woman who's cool with where you at, then maybe not. If she's like, I like this, and I'm satisfied, we good.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, right.
Then she probably,
Okay.
But a woman will put some pressure on you if y'all are trying to get somewhere. If y'all are trying to get to a certain point, she's going to add some pressure because she believes you can do it, and maybe you just need a little. Yeah.
That's if that push is wanted. Also,
Again, if they're, but still, woman enhances everything. Like, you go to see your parents, it's supposed to be an enhancement. Like, it's supposed to be. Lord have mercy, it ain't always.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be, and like, I have a woman here who has some experiences. She's bringing these ideas, collages of ideas to the table. She's thinking of things that I wouldn't normally think of. I can tell you that the women that have been in my life have thought of so many things that I wouldn't think of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I wouldn't move on. I would not take action on if they had not been influencing me, right? So, again, to quibble over payment of certain things when you're being provided some of this intrinsic value, when you're being provided, again, like I said, the ability to have a child, regardless of your participation. You ain't carrying it. You ain't bringing it out. Right? You ain't got no eggs in you. So she came to the party with this. I guess that was Steve's point. I don't agree with Steve. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
But I get the gist in that, like, yo, and I'm more specifically talking about black women. I feel like women have different value. I feel like all women have value, but I think that there is something with black women that other women do not possess. And I assume it just comes from our DNA, but you can't put a price tag on it, is my point. It's something in that connection, in that agreement, and that we could be in the same room, seeing the same thing, have the same thought, like, yeah, laugh about it later, talk about it. That connection, that value of, like, this is my person, and I don't have to sit here after Get Out and explain to Becky for 20 minutes what this meant. Days. And yeah, so it's like,
I remember when I went to go see Get Out, and there was an interracial couple that I actually knew sitting in front of me. Oh, they got it. She got it. He got it. Because the look on their face afterwards was fucking hilarious. But on the same token,
okay,
you're talking about all the wonderful things that this beautiful black queen does on a daily basis. What about you? The things that you do that she either doesn't want to do or can't do.
Okay.
Scared to do, won't do. Cutting the grass, making sure the lawn and shit is manicured, fixing shit around the house, killing bugs that she's scared of.
What if you're not a handyman?
I think if you own a house, I think it's probably, within
like, you can learn your way into some things, but what if you're not?
If you're not a handyman, you're handling that. You're calling the handyman to get him to come over and fix the stuff, or you're calling the lawn care guy to come over and take care of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
so stuff she can do.
Stuff that she can do, because like you said, she's cooking, she's taking care of the house, decorating. Also stuff that I can do. Maybe not as well, maybe not as thorough.
Okay.
But there's stuff that I can do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is stuff that she can do too, because she can cut the grass.
Correct.
She can learn how to fix shit, or she can call the dude to fix the shit.
All of that.
She can kill the bug, or call the dude to kill the bugs.
That too.
All that. She can do all that. Things that would be an annoyance for her or extra work for her after she got off every day from work, you're taking care of. Just like she's doing all that for you.
Right.
So there's value in that too.
It's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off, right?
Yeah. It's
a trade-off. So in that particular hypothetical example, like if she does all that and I'm handling, like, I'm cool with that. That's the 50-50 mindset, not necessarily the 50-50 actual split equity shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where it would be an issue for me is that let's take all of that good shit away. You know what I'm saying? And let's say I'm covering everything in the house. And all she thinks she has to do is look decent, fucking suck.
I mean, that's the arrangement that some people have.
That is the arrangement that some people have.
I don't know that it would be one that you would want, obviously.
Oh no, I don't want a dependent. If I wanted a child, I would have one. You know what I'm saying? Like, just it's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I wanted to take care of somebody's every single need on a daily basis, I would have a kid.
This and I think it's important when you're qualifying whether you want to have a relationship with a person to, know these things and have discussions about them
ahead of time. Oh, most
absolutely,
definitely. Yeah.
But I also feel like once you've agreed to the terms of your relationship or whatever, and y'all are pursuing it, one of the things that ends up hampering people is that very thing that you're just talking about, which is, who's fulfilling whose needs.
Right.
Like, are my needs being fulfilled, but you're not sure?
Right.
And it's like as soon as we begin to focus on what's not being met, then things start to erode and I think fall apart.
Right.
And I feel like that is a part of the trade-off, is that there are certain needs you have, whether they be security, provision, whatever. And there's certain needs that another person has, whether it's like emotionally or physically. And it's like if you can't come to a common ground where there's an acceptable exchange, mm-hmm. then maybe, that's not the one.
Yeah, right.
That's not the relationship you should have.
Exactly.
Because relationships are built on exchange of ideas, exchange of love, exchange of emotion, exchange of experiences. But as soon as somebody feels like they're getting the short end of the exchange, it begins to fall apart.
Yeah, it becomes a problem. And that's like my whole thing with the whole conversation. Like, the 50-50 shit looks different for everybody. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're splitting everything down the middle monetarily.
Right. And there's a difference too between like you meeting a woman and y'all dating, and let's say, sometimes y'all go Dutch, because I feel like nowadays some women are inclined to let you know, like, I don't need you to buy whatever for me. Like, I could do my own. It would be my preference if you did, mm-hmm. but I don't need you to, you know, and while we're dating, because I don't want to owe you anything. Because then that's the other part, is like their body not being their own body.
And that was kind of like a point that I was leaning into it. And we've had previous conversations about this shit before. And it's like, when you expect a partner, and we're talking either side of the equation. If you're a man and you expect your girl to pay for everything and mm-hmm. take care of that, and if you're a woman, you expect your man to take care of everything, or if you're a woman with a woman or a man with a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, in all relationship dynamics, I feel that if you're gonna be that way, and let's just say I'm a dude who wants a lady, I want to be kept. I want to be kept, man. I don't want to do shit. Like, I want to pay for everything. Yeah. Stay at home, kick it. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure the house is clean, food cooked, all that good shit, all that shit. But for the most part, man, I'm fucking around with my boys, playing golf and shit like that. Video games. I have to be okay with there to be for there to be a certain power dynamic. She calls the shots. She does. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not working.
But so the thing here is, though, I think whatever that power dynamic is still needs to be outlined and agreed on.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Because a lot of times people go into that with this idea that, like you said, okay, well, you call the shots. Mm-hmm. But then once we get into the minutia, start doing certain shit. You're like, right. Oh, what you doing?
Exactly.
And like, nah, nigga, I call the shots.
Exactly.
Like,
I think that's
within reason.
I think in society nowadays, and I see it with a lot of women, that shit is a fantasy, it's fairy tale. But you need to go and find out from somebody who's actually in that situation what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a certain type of motherfuckers, and I'm talking about black, white, in between, you know what I'm saying, that's okay with, oh, I'm going to take care of everything. You just, stay at the house, look beautiful, etc. like that. There's certain type of motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you end up in a situation that you don't necessarily want to continue being in, whether it be detrimental to your mental health, to your physical health, you know what I'm saying, to your spiritual well-being, whatever it may be, you do not want to be in that shit. But you got yourself in that shit because you gave up the power. What I'm saying is, like, I don't know anybody who, like, if Oprah came along, was like, and I would Hulk smash Oprah at 175 years old right now.
Wow.
It came along and said, Court, Stedman's out. You're it.
You're up. You're on deck.
You're on deck. I'm not quitting my job.
Okay, why?
Because Oprah gets mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
Court, we went to dinner with Gail. You didn't do this thing with me and Gail. You know, together. It happens.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. And I was like, I'm not feeling it, you and Gail today. You know what I'm saying? You got to go. I'm not starting at ground zero. Like, you don't you don't have who was that? The dude from the UFC.
Who?
The black dude from the UFC that just won. Not Jones. Not John Jones. Yes.
The one who left?
No, not the one who left.
Oh.
The one with the one that was defending Dana White.
Oh, it's Israel, whatever.
Israel, whatever his last name is, is now getting sued by his ex-girlfriend.
Nice.
He left her.
It's a white girl, isn't it?
White girl, because she says,
"Oh yeah,
she was there for
she
all
said,
that
I was
shit.
with you shooting in the gym,
right? Exactly. Yeah. And they're not married, so she's still able to and like, I don't want to be doing that to Oprah. At least I could go back to my old life if I'm still working. Or if I still have income coming in.
And then that is a measure of trust and commitment between you and
Oprah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous to say.
It's not.
So
it could happen.
But again, these are things you'll work out. And I understand you don't want to be dependent. But also, I feel like I just think that so it's 2023. Mm-hmm. If you're a man, you can get along in this world, most likely, especially in America, on your own for the most part. If you're a woman, at this point, you can probably get along, most likely, on your own if you want to. We desire companionship. And I think that a part of that is an exchange where you may not get 1,000% of everything you want, but it's about prioritizing what you value.
Right. Compromising.
Essentially. And then, like, okay, if I can get 97%, if I can get 98.1%, you know, am I willing to throw that away because I'm not getting 100? And then maybe in another relationship get 50% of that, but I'm getting, you know, what I want, but just with 50% less of the effort or whatever. So it's like it's an exchange. Yeah. It's literally an exchange market, and you're like a free agent on the market, where there are teams who are willing to give you exactly what you want. Mm-hmm. You tell them what you want, they'll give it to you over time, period. They'll keep giving it to you. And then there are teams who are like, well, you know, we can give you this. We can't quite give you that.
Right.
We can give you this. But the organizations are different. You know, this one that wants to give you everything you want might be like the Lions. And you like, all right, y'all are in the NFL. At least y'all got that going for you.
I mean, the Lions are kind of coming up, though.
They're trying.
Yeah.
But just think of or even the Browns, you know, whatever, versus like somebody with the acumen of
the Chiefs,
the Patriots, the Ravens. It's like, you know, people who've been to Super Bowls and won them. Shut up.
The boy said the Ravens. No, I'm just kidding, but. I mean, the Cowboys to a certain extent.
The Cowboys,
yeah, they have that. They have that. That's the political. They have the stock. They have the.
And that ends up being, I think, the point is that it's like
cachet.
Yeah, you know, I can get what I want from not a lesser organization, but maybe an organization that doesn't have the championship pedigree.
Instead of, you want to go to a contender.
You want to go to a
kind
contender.
Kind of what D-Hop was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you want to have a shot at the ring. And that's the point. And that's the trade-off. So you've met many women in your life. You're getting older. We all getting older. You get to a point where you're like, I want me a teammate. Cool. You meet somebody that has the acumen of one of those organizations, but they're like, look, I ain't doing 50-50. The most I'm doing is 70-30. But I will also provide boom, 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 and boom. It's up to you to say, fuck that, I'm by myself. Or to say, okay, I want a teammate, and this is what I'm willing to exchange so that I can get what I want. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's literally just on you. Because at the end of the day, that's what you got to look at in the mirror.
Right, it's yourself. At this particular point in time, it would probably be fuck that I'm out.
Nice. But then that's my thought is that, again, it's a big league. Like, there's people who are willing to do the things you won't do, and that's fine. So then there's options for you and for them.
Right.
I think it's just ultimately about you make connections with people, and you want those connections to endure because there's emotion connected to it, and they're providing something sincere, hopefully, that you don't feel like everybody else is providing. And I think that ends up being the bottom line. And then you have to decide, like, all right, cool. Since that is the case, am I willing to make some compromises, as you say, so that I can have what I want and they can get what they want?
Right. I think in any relationship, regardless of the type of relationship, there's compromises that we all make. I just think that in today's day and age, that people, whether it be men, women, whatever, should look through the lens of today's climate, today's environment. You can't have some of the same gender norms from the 60s, but scoff at others. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of really like judging people based on what they want per se. I have, and I'm sure I will again in the future, but also what you want is what you want. And if it makes you happy, then that's what you got to go for.
Right.
Whether anyone else agrees with it,
or
sees
not,
it,
right,
or believes in it, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
I think just in a situation, anybody needs to know there's a trade-off for any of that, and you might not like it.
But so in the same way though, because there's a trade-off, they can reject this end of it. Mm-hmm. If I'm like, yo, I'm not doing 50-50. The most I'll do is 60-40. That's it. Take it or leave it. And they leave it. I can't be mad at them and talk about them. That's they don't want that.
They don't want that, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So you can't get your panties in the wad or your drawers in the wad. So make it not specific to a gender. Your drawers in the wad because so and so doesn't want that, and that's just on the other side. It's like you don't want to do 50-50, but this is what I expect. You know what I'm saying? On a male's perspective or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? I just know, for me, in today's day and age, the way shit works, it just, how things are as far as, debt and shit costs, et cetera, it's like, unless you're making words of six figures plus, like it's fucking hard to make it out here without a 2-income household. And you add kids and all the responsibilities that come with all that together, is like for one person to shoulder the whole brunt of that, to me, is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I'm a husband and my wife is doing that, I'm thinking like she's like out here with all the stress. Like, I'm sending baby girl to an early grave. She's working to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't want to be a dude sitting at home, even if I was cleaning up and cooking and taking care of the kids, getting them off to school and all that shit. Like, I wouldn't want to be a dude sitting at home not contributing financially to my household. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's also bringing in those whole gender role.
I think that's really the crux of it. And I see myself as more of a traditionalist. So I feel like in exchange for the things that I desire, if that requires me to hold down or maintain a certain financial point that I feel I can conceivably get to, I'm open to that. Mm-hmm. I'm not shooting it down. I'm not saying that like I'm paying 100%, but I feel, again, you only have so many years on this earth, right? So it's like I don't want to allow finances to be the thing that can stand between me and an experience with somebody that I might not have with anyone else.
Right. Or just in general.
Yeah, or just in general.
Just in general.
Because we're getting older, man. I keep saying that. Yeah. And it's like, it's really hitting me now. Like, there's some things I did in my 20s, like, I'll never do again. That's done. That's done and gone. I'll never do that again. I'll never do it that way. It'll never have the same impact. It won't be the same people. It just won't happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn. Okay. So it's like moving ahead to my 40s. I'm 38. You know, I'll be 39 this year. So moving ahead to my 40s, it's like a different mindset in terms of, all right, we're shifting into the next phase chapter, per se. And I want to have certain experiences with a significant other before I get off this earth.
Right.
I don't know. Nigga might live to 42. Shit, I don't know. So it's like I got to do what I can do now. It just made me think of Chappelle. So what are you talking about? As I sip this drink that I'm sure somebody spit in.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think will be a very good show is for us to bring on a young lady who would like to speak on these things. So we can have an alternative viewpoint from the other side of the gender aisle.
My sister has been hounding me to get on the show for a while now.
She be saying, she listens?
I don't think so.
You be saying that, but then I feel like every time something's scheduled, you be like, oh, I can't come because of so-and-so. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, like it's a nuanced conversation. Also depends on, you know, what the fuck you want personally. I just like it.
What is the thing too is that we make decisions from where we are.
Right.
So,
exactly. And I'm making my viewpoint from where I'm at now.
Exactly.
Who knows in a couple of years where I'll be at.
And that's what we talked about earlier with the religion stuff. You don't know where you'll be at spiritually if you're gonna have your very corrupt church where you robbing people.
Most definitely.
It's terrible. But yeah, you know, in 5 years' time, it's conceivable and possible within capitalism that you could be a 6-figure earner and then some. And your whole spill right here could be out the window. You could be like, hey, man, listen, I got the bag. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is pull up, take care of the house, you know what I'm saying, break me off when I want, and go do your thing.
What I want is the key. I mean, you're not a sex slave or nothing like that, but...
Sounds like it, but cool.
Like, adjacent sex slave.
That's kind of the same thing, but cool. He's shrugging. Since y'all can't see.
But yeah, it's definitely, I think, a conversation that we should continue. And shit would probably fucking be a disaster, but should have a ladies. We talked about that.
We should
have a ladies podcast.
We need a ladies roundtable with at least like 2 to 3 women.
Yeah.
And us. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be an experience.
To say the least.
I anticipate you getting up and walking out. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be one of the first shows where you be like, fuck this.
It's a distinct possibility, yeah.
I'm out.
Y'all
niggas got it.
This is just dope.
Take care of my equipment,
right?
motherfuckers.
I'll be back in 20 fucking minutes to get my shit.
It better be wrapped up nice.
But yeah, so we'll try to figure that out. Maybe get that scheduled. Should be funny. Yeah. Outside of that, you know what the deal is. You know where to find us. The Linktree. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and what's the other place?
Reddit.
Facebook, Reddit. Fucking share with your peoples. Tell your friends. Got a new video up on just another fragrance reviewer. So go check that shit out too.
Jaffer.
Also, Jaffer. Also in the Linktree. To our number one Patreon subscriber, one and only, we appreciate you. Do not go anywhere because that bonus episode is coming up next.
Here we go.
But for the folks that ain't subscribed, you're missing out, so go subscribe. Anyway, y'all know what it is. This is We Ain't Found.
We ain't found shit.
And we out this bitch. Long live the R&B Charlatan.
Ooh, yeah.
Miss you, dude.
Yeah.
Peace.